Again, I don't mind being called a conservative, but because the founding fathers at the beginning, there were conservatives that were troubled by the federal republic they were putting together, and that there may be some time in our future where we may come to the point we are now. So they warned the Federalists about that. And you can read about that in the Federalist Papers and in the Anti-Federalist Papers. But what I'm here to say is that we need to come together as a people again, because we've been divided. And as the Anti-Federalists said in their papers, that when you divide the people and they saw it could happen, then you could control them in the way that you govern them by pitting one group against another. Well, we have come to that point after 230 years. Someone figured out how to do that, and they're now applying that to us. They're dividing us conservative against liberal, black against white, man against woman. You name it. You come up, there always is some group that they identify and they pit against one against the other. One of the things we come together under is the Constitution of the United States. It's the supreme law of the land. All of our differences can be resolved under that document and in the guidance of that document that it provides. And that's what we're for.
I just took the Making of America course,
yeah.
And it was very enlightening. And I realized maybe I am not a conservative, but I believe in the Constitution more than I ever did.
Yeah.
And as you talked about it, I kind of saw that, just as you were saying that, during that course, I realized maybe that is a bad label. I believe in the Constitution more than... I'm just accustomed to people calling me a conservative.
Right.
And now I'm not even sure if I am. All I know is I believe in the Constitution.
I used to become very incensed when people would say, "Oh, you don't want to do this because you're just a conservative." Well, I'm for people who need help to get help. But it's not through a government organization that does it. We used to take care of ourselves as a people. Government has a place, but the bigger it gets, the more intrusive it has to become by its very nature. It is antithetical, I think is the term, against the Constitution to have government grow the way it has. It's not listening anymore, and that is the concern that we all have. It's abandoning the Constitution, and there was no mechanism to force them to come back into compliance except for the people to stand up for it. For we are the supreme authority of the land. We are the sovereigns here. The government was set up by us, for us, and to do good for us, not to be taking away our rights, getting intrusive into our lives, and directing them from some master point based on some intellectual's opinion of how society and the human life should be lived out. It's not up to them. It's up to us as individuals to live out the God-given life that we have on this earth, and to determine when we will be born, how we will live, and then determine by God's plan on when we should leave this planet and go on to our reward. It is not the role of government to determine that, but yet we are in a situation right now where that is exactly what's beginning to happen. We're beginning to turn ourselves over to a government where we're going to be looked at as just tax-paying units who have to pay taxes, and when our ability to pay those taxes has been exhausted, then there's no need to give us anything anymore for our sustenance, that we will be denied it, and then we will go back to Providence where we came from, and they will determine when that happens instead of when God does, by shutting us off from the resources that we need to sustain ourselves. It is not a government I want to live under. I don't think anybody wants to live under that.
Besides voting in people who claim to be willing to abide by the Constitution, something like that, obviously the main best way to resolve this. How else do we get states' rights back? How do you intertwine this mess?
We currently live under the dominance and the tyranny of the two-party system, which we've allowed to be created. To get into public office, you have to kiss the ring of some party, so they'll back you and support you and provide you with the necessary route into government. Somehow, as a people, we have to break free of that. Our founding fathers warned us of the parties, that they could be the undoing of our republic. And it's, again, 200 some odd years later, it's come to pass that the two-party system is a stranglehold on us and is a form of tyranny over us, to get the right people in office that will do the bidding of the Constitution as it's written and not be beholding to any special interest or party. one of the things that we are challenged with is how to break loose from that and still have a political life in the country that is sustainable and is going to act in the will of the people. It isn't an easy thing to undo that now that it's been done, but we need to start looking at it. One of the ways is to get involved in a party of your choice and begin to take it in the direction that it needs to go. People of a particular opinion are now embedded in the Democratic Party at the highest levels and have captured the machinery of it. And many good Democrats are following it because they follow their team. And that's not what the politics of this nation was about. It is the people must always rule, even in the parties. So get involved. Find a party that you can get involved and don't let them do that. And when they do that, vote them out no matter what label they're wearing.